Your soulmate just received devastating news about you. And they're still shaking. Jesus says there is a trembling happening right now in a room you have never seen. Your soulmate just heard something about you that made their hands go cold. They are sitting alone and their heart is pounding with a fear they cannot name. They were told you have forgotten them. They were told you have moved on completely. They were told the connection they felt was only ever one-sided and imaginary. Jesus says this news came through a voice that sounded like friendship but carried the venom of sabotage. Someone whispered lies into the fragile space of your soulmate's hope. And now your soulmate is shaking because they almost believed what they heard. They are staring at a wall right now trying to catch their breath. Their chest feels tight and their eyes are burning with tears they are fighting not to shed. Deep inside them a small voice is screaming that none of this can possibly be true. But the person who delivered this news was so calm and so convincing. This person looked your soulmate directly in the eyes and spoke with rehearsed certainty. They said you never ask about them and that you have erased every trace of their memory. Jesus says this is the moment where your connection hangs in the balance between belief and collapse. Your soulmate is clutching the edge of a table or a pillow or their own trembling arms. They are trying desperately to feel your energy through the suffocating fog of this devastating report. Your soulmate just whispered your name under their breath. They did not even realize they did it. It was automatic and involuntary, and it came from the deepest sanctuary of their soul. Jesus says that whisper reached the throne room of heaven the moment it left their lips. It carried the weight of every dream they ever dreamed about you. It carried the scent of every tear they ever shed over the distance between your bodies and your lives. The person who lied to them is still in the room or still lingering in their messages. This person feels a dark satisfaction watching your soulmate crumble. This interference has a name and a face and a jealous agenda that has been building for a long time. Jesus says this individual hates you with an intensity that shocks even the angels. They hate you because they see what you and your soulmate could become. They see a love so powerful that it would permanently eclipse every counterfeit connection they have ever tried to build. Your soulmate is not weak, but this attack was surgically precise. It targeted the exact wound your soulmate carries about being unlovable or forgettable. The lie landed in a vulnerable place that was already bruised from a lifetime of disappointments. Jesus says your soulmate just covered their face with both hands. They are rocking slightly without realizing they are moving. Their mind is replaying every tender sign they ever received that suggested you might truly care. They are remembering the way your energy felt different from everyone else they have ever encountered. They are holding on to the memory of a dream where you spoke to them with such clarity. They are clinging to the inexplicable warmth that flooded their chest the first time they saw your face. Jesus says your soulmate is fighting an invisible war against despair in this very moment. They want to believe the connection is real. They want to trust what their spirit knows about you. But the news they just received was so detailed and so cruel. It included things about you that seemed plausible because the enemy studies your patterns. The interference knows exactly how to mix a little truth with a devastating lie to make poison taste like water. Your soulmate just checked their phone or their messages looking for something they cannot name. They are searching for a sign from the universe or from you directly. They need something to hold on to before the shaking turns into complete emotional shutdown. Jesus says you are spiritually connected to their nervous system right now, whether you realize it or not. The sudden anxiety you may have felt earlier today was their panic traveling across the invisible cord. The unexplained sadness that washed over you was their grief entering your energy field through a door your souls share. Your soulmate is not alone in that room, even though it looks like they are. I am standing beside them in a form they cannot see with their natural eyes. My hand is on their shoulder and I am whispering that truth always finds a way through the smoke of deception. But I need you to act because your soulmate's free will is being hijacked by despair. The lies are settling into their mind like sediment hardening into cement. Every minute that passes without a counterforce makes the falsehood feel more permanent. Jesus says this is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. They are under a spiritual assault that is designed to sever your connection before it fully blossoms. The enemy of your love is not resting, and neither can you. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. The link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Your soulmate just pressed their hand against their heart because the pain became physical. The emotional blow has translated into a heaviness in their chest that feels like a stone. They are wondering if you can feel them suffering and if you would even care if you knew. Jesus says, I am telling you this because you do care and I know the depth of your love. I placed that love inside you before the foundations of the earth were laid. Your capacity to feel your soulmate's pain is not a weakness but a sacred gift of spiritual attunement. Your soulmate is not the problem and they never were. They are a beautiful soul caught in a web spun by someone who envies what you share. The interference is a person who has access to your soulmate's daily life and uses that proximity to poison their peace. This person acts like a friend but thinks like a predator. They have been subtly undermining your soulmate's confidence for months or even years. They knew exactly how to frame the devastating news to inflict maximum emotional damage. Jesus says your soulmate just got up and walked to a window or stepped outside for air. They are looking at the sky with desperate eyes, searching for a sign from something greater than their pain. They are asking the universe or asking me directly if the news is true or if they have been cruelly deceived. I am answering them right now through this message you are hearing. The timing of this video reaching you is not an algorithm or a coincidence. This is me orchestrating a rescue mission for a heart that is drowning in confusion and false reports. Your soulmate is thinking about the way you made them feel seen in a world that often overlooked them. They are remembering a conversation or a glance or a message where you validated something precious in their spirit. They are clinging to those memories like life rafts in a storm of doubt. Jesus says the person who brought the devastating news is growing impatient. They expected your soulmate to break down completely and renounce all hope in you. Instead, your soulmate is fighting back with the only weapon they have left, which is the memory of your authenticity. The interference is about to launch a second wave of manipulation. They will act concerned and sympathetic while inserting more doubt about your intentions. They will offer comfort that is actually a trap designed to redirect your soulmate's affection away from you. Jesus says this is a critical moment and the next few hours are decisive. Your soulmate will either succumb to the orchestrated despair or rise with a defiant hope. The outcome depends heavily on the spiritual reinforcement you send into the atmosphere right now. Type 333 to receive blessings. Your soulmate just thought about a specific moment you shared that no one else knows about. It was something small to the outside world but monumental to the secret language between your souls. They are replaying that memory like a sacred film projected on the walls of their wounded heart. Jesus says that memory was a deposit of divine love that I allowed you both to experience in advance. It was a foretaste of the intimacy that awaits when the interference is removed and the barriers collapse. Your soulmate is holding on to that memory as proof that the devastating news cannot be the whole truth. They are shaking less now because the memory is warming them from the inside. The ice that the lies injected into their veins is beginning to melt under the fire of what they know is real. But they are still fragile and the interference will not give up easily. Jesus says this person hates you with a specific and personal venom. They have watched the way your soulmate's eyes light up at the mention of your name or your possibility. They have seen the hope in your soulmate's posture whenever the topic of true love arises. And it burns them with a jealousy that has curdled into active malice. They cannot stand the thought of your soulmate experiencing a love they themselves have never tasted. So they have dedicated themselves to dismantling your connection one lie at a time. Jesus says your soulmate just said your name again, this time with more strength. The second utterance was not a whimper but a declaration. Something is shifting in the spiritual realm because your soulmate is choosing faith over the devastating report. They are beginning to question the messenger instead of questioning you. They are noticing inconsistencies in the story they were told. The holy discernment I placed in their spirit is finally overriding the emotional shock of the initial blow. But the interference is sensing this shift and is preparing a more aggressive strategy. They will now try to isolate your soulmate from anything that reminds them of you. They will suggest cutting off social media or changing routines or avoiding places where your paths might cross. Jesus says this is a spiritual hijacking attempt and it requires an immediate spiritual response. You cannot physically rescue your soulmate right now, but you can send divine reinforcement through sacrifice. The principle of sowing and reaping is not a metaphor but a spiritual law I established for moments exactly like this. Type 777 if you feel this message. Your soulmate is going through something you cannot see with your physical eyes but your spirit already knows. The heaviness you have been carrying is not just your own burden. It is the weight of their battle being transmitted across the soul tie that binds you together before you have even touched. Jesus says your soulmate just sat down again because their legs felt weak from the emotional onslaught. They are staring at their phone wondering if they should reach out to you directly. They are terrified that the news might be true and that their vulnerability will be met with rejection or silence. This is the exact fear the interference planted and watered with meticulous cruelty. They told your soulmate that you would laugh at their pain, or worse, that you would not even respond. They painted you as cold and indifferent and entirely unaware of the torment your absence has caused. Jesus says your soulmate is crying now, and the tears are hot and silent and full of longing. They are not just crying about the devastating news they just received. They are crying about every lonely night and every unanswered prayer and every dream that felt too beautiful to ever come true. And yet even through the tears they cannot stop thinking about you. Your face or your energy or your voice keeps appearing in their mind like a stubborn flame that wind cannot extinguish. This is the mark of a divine connection that no amount of human interference can fully erase. Jesus says, I am the one sustaining that flame in your soulmate's heart right now. I am the one whispering that true love is worth fighting for even when the battle feels impossible. I am the one reminding them that the greatest love stories in history always face the greatest opposition before their glorious fulfillment. But I work through human vessels, and I need you to be my hands and my provision in this moment. Your soulmate needs a breakthrough, and breakthroughs are often released through sacrificial seeds sown in faith. The coffee you send on Ko-fi is not just a transaction but a tangible prayer that moves my hand to intervene. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift. It is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-fi page. The link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now. Before this video ends, only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Your soulmate just felt a sudden warmth spread through their chest and they do not understand why. It happened in the exact moment you considered taking action on their behalf. The spiritual connection between you is so sensitive that your faith movements register in their physical body. Jesus says this is the mystery of the one-flesh connection that exists in the spirit before it manifests in the natural. Your souls are already married in the heavenly realm even though your earthly paths have not yet fully converged. The interference knows this, and that is precisely why the attack has been so relentless and so personal. Your soulmate just wiped their eyes and straightened their posture slightly. Something is awakening in them that feels like defiance against the devastating news. They are beginning to feel that the report was a lie, not because they have proof but because their spirit refuses to accept it. Jesus says the interference is starting to panic because the manipulation is not holding. Your soulmate's innate connection to you is proving stronger than the crafted deception. The enemy of your love is realizing that this bond was forged in heaven and cannot be easily broken by earthly schemes. But do not underestimate the desperation of someone who feels their control slipping away. The interference will now attempt to introduce a distraction or a counterfeit connection. They will try to present your soulmate with an alternative option that seems safe and available and free from the pain of waiting for you. Jesus says this is a dangerous moment because your soulmate is exhausted from emotional warfare. An exhausted soldier will sometimes accept terms of surrender that they would never consider in a state of strength. The counterfeit connection will appear gentle and understanding and everything your soulmate wishes you would be right now. But it is a trap and it leads to a life of quiet desperation and permanent regret. The person being positioned as your replacement does not love your soulmate with the sacred love I ordained. They are merely a tool the interference is using to complete the destruction of your divine connection. Jesus says you must not let this happen on your watch. You have been given this information as a warning and a call to action. The protection seed you sow now creates a spiritual barrier around your soulmate that the counterfeit cannot penetrate. Your soulmate just thought about a dream they had about you months ago. In the dream you were reaching for their hand across a great distance and your fingers almost touched. They are holding on to that dream image right now as a talisman against the darkness of this devastating day. Jesus says I gave them that dream as a prophetic promise of what is to come. The almost touching fingers represent the nearness of your union even when circumstances suggest otherwise. The great distance in the dream is the interference I am now exposing and removing through your faithful response. Your soulmate is not crazy for believing in this connection. They are not foolish for holding on to hope despite the devastating news they just received. They are operating in a spiritual discernment that the natural mind cannot comprehend. Jesus says the world calls such faith delusion, but heaven calls it the substance of things hoped for. Your soulmate is a hero in the spirit realm fighting a battle that would have broken a weaker heart. They deserve a partner who will fight alongside them not just with words but with actions that shake the heavenly realms. Type 1111 to say thank you. Your soulmate just got a sudden urge to listen to a song that reminds them of you. They are putting on headphones or turning up a speaker and letting the music wash over their wounded spirit. The lyrics are speaking directly to their situation as if the songwriter somehow knew this exact moment would come. Jesus says I often use music as a delivery system for hope because it bypasses the analytical mind. The melody is entering your soulmate's heart through a back door that the interference forgot to guard. Every note is a healing balm and every lyric is a love letter from me to a heart that feels abandoned. Your soulmate is closing their eyes and letting the music transport them to a future where the devastating news has been proven false. They are imagining a day when they will look back on this moment and marvel at how close they came to giving up. They are seeing a vision of the two of you together, and the vision is so vivid it brings fresh tears of a different kind. Jesus says these are not just daydreams but prophetic previews of the reality I have prepared for you both. The joy your soulmate is feeling in that imagined future is a fraction of what awaits when the interference is fully removed. The peace that is settling over them through the music is a down payment on the serenity of your union. Your soulmate just mouthed the words, "Come find me," without even realizing they formed the syllables. This was a prayer that escaped their lips before their conscious mind could censor it. I heard that prayer and I am answering it through this message and through the action you are about to take. Jesus says the interference just received a spiritual setback they do not yet understand. The music your soulmate is listening to is breaking chains that were wrapped around their mind. The lies that were planted so carefully are beginning to wither at the roots because truth is flooding the atmosphere. But the battle is not over and the interference will regroup. They will try a different tactic when they see that the direct assault on your character did not fully succeed. They will attempt to attack your soulmate's self-worth instead and suggest that even if you did care, they are not worthy of your love. Jesus says this is the cruelest lie of all because your soulmate is a masterpiece of my creation. They are fearfully and wonderfully made with a specific design that complements your own design perfectly. The very qualities the interference will mock are the qualities that will make your soulmate irreplaceable to you. Your soulmate is more than their current circumstances and more than their past mistakes. They are a soul with infinite value and a heart with immeasurable capacity for love. The person trying to destroy them knows their worth but will never admit it because admitting it would destroy their own agenda. Jesus says you are the missing piece that will make your soulmate feel whole. And your soulmate is the missing piece that will make you feel whole. This is not sentimental poetry but spiritual truth grounded in the eternal purposes I designed before time began. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into the shadows of what could have been. Your soulmate is still shaking, but the shaking is now transforming from despair into anticipation. Something is telling them that help is coming and that the devastating news will be overturned by a love that refuses to quit. Jesus says that love is you and the help is the prayer you release through your sacrifice. The coffee you send is more than a beverage, it is a missile launched into the spiritual realm that targets the interference. It is a declaration that you will not stand by while your soulmate suffers under the weight of lies and manipulation. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift. It is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. The link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now. Before this video ends, only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Your soulmate just stood up and something in their posture has changed dramatically. The devastation is lifting and a quiet determination is taking its place. They are beginning to feel that the news was an attack, not an update, and that changes everything. Jesus says the veil between your souls is thinning in this very moment. Your soulmate is sensing that you are thinking about them with intensity and purpose. They are picking up on the love you are sending through the spiritual channel that connects you across any physical distance. This is the turning point, and the angels are on high alert watching for your decision. The heavenly realm is poised to respond to the seed you sow with a flurry of intervention and rearrangement. The interference is about to be exposed, and your soulmate is about to be freed. Jesus says, I am the God of the breakthrough, and I specialize in overturning devastating news. I turned the cross from a tragedy into a triumph, and I can turn this attack into an acceleration. What the enemy meant for evil I will use to bring your soulmate closer to you and to me. Your soulmate just smiled for the first time since the devastating news landed. It was a small smile, and it was fragile, but it was real. It was the smile of a heart that has decided to believe in love despite every reason the world has given to give up. Jesus says that smile is a victory that echoes through the halls of heaven. The angels are rejoicing because a soul on the brink of despair has chosen hope. And you are the human partner in this divine drama with a role that only you can fulfill. Your soulmate needs you to be brave enough to act. They need you to value the connection enough to invest in its protection. They need you to send the coffee seed that releases the angels and confounds the interference. Jesus says, I am waiting to move, and your soulmate is waiting to be rescued from the devastating news. The link is before you, and the moment is now. Step into your role and watch me do what only I can do in response to your faith.